Hi there. What am I going to eat today, do you know? We're having bacon, whipped cream-covered cinnamon buns, and an iced frappuccino for breakfast. I had a big steak, potatoes, and chocolate pie for lunch. And for supper, dude, please take your time. You've been eating garbage for the whole week. While the occasional indulgence is acceptable, you cannot expect to live a long life if you consume this kind of food every day. Allow me to share with you something that the longest living humans on Earth would never eat. Blue zones. You've never heard of the blue zones, what? Permit me to elaborate. Few people are disease-free until they reach the age of 90. The average life expectancy has reached 100 years in 7 unique geographic regions, though. Sardinia, Italy. Okinawa, Japan. Loma Linda, California. Icaria, Greece. And Nicoya, Costa Rica are home to the longest living people. These places are known as blue zones. Your longevity is determined by your lifestyle, not by your genetics. When scientists looked into the mysteries surrounding these regions, they found a direct link between the lifespan of the locals and the foods they consumed. I guess it's about time we discovered their longevity secret, too. There is little emphasis on calories in the blue zone diet. It makes no mention of how important it is to read labels or take wellness supplements. It's a whole and organic way of living. To begin your lifelong strategy, let's examine what not to do. Are you unhealthy obsessed with hot dogs, steak, and hamburgers? Red meat is now so widely consumed in America that it's almost a national dish. But, you know what? Meat is only consumed on special occasions by residents of the blue zones. The quantity is small, perhaps 2 ounces, and they only have it maybe twice a week, if that. Seventh-day Adventists who live in Loma Linda don't consume meat. If you are able to, that is wonderful. However, giving up meat can be challenging if you've eaten it for a long period. If you must eat meat, choose poultry that has been grown on an organic farm. People in the other blue zones only eat animals that are fed grain and wander freely. The amount of protein your body needs is 0.36 grams per pound of body weight. On the other hand, Americans frequently overdo things. Regulating the size of portions is essential. Remember that the size of your lamb chop shouldn't exceed the dimensions of a deck of cards. When you encounter a larger portion at a restaurant, your best bet is to divide it with someone else or take the leftovers to go. It would be a lot simpler if you completely avoided purchasing luncheon meat, sausages, and other processed meats. Because they are heavy in preservatives and sodium, they will damage your heart in 2 ways. Processed beef raises the risk of coronary heart disease by 18%, per one study. Eating red meat raised the risk of a heart attack by 9%. Researchers in the blue zone could have figured out the mystery of heart disease. How then can one consume adequate protein? If people avoid eating meat, will they still be lacking in protein? They do have other plant sources, though. Beans, green veggies, sweet potatoes, almonds, and seeds make up their usual diet. When vegetables are in season, they pickle extra to consume during off-peak times. Try tofu, tempeh, and beans to up your protein consumption. Have you ever tried a chickpea or black bean patty in a vegan burger? If you serve it with a tiny salad and season it well, it's fantastic. The next best sources of protein for the typical American diet are probably eggs and salmon. You should only eat 3 eggs a week if you want to mimic the blue zone diet. As the Mediterraneans do, serve it as a side dish. As the Okinawans do, serve it as a soup. You can include fish in your diet as well. Pesco-vegetarians, or those who eat just fish and vegetables in these areas, are said to have long lifespans based on studies. Limit it to cod, anchovies, and sardines. They will have less mercury and fewer other impurities. Steer clear of swordfish, shark, tuna, and sea bass. Steer clear of canned fish because the longest living individuals exclusively consume fresh, wild fish. What unifying factor unites all pastries, cakes, donuts, and chocolate? Made of sugar, that is. One major factor contributing to the growing number of obese people is sugar. In America, 1 in 3 people is overweight. 6 to 9 tablespoons of sugar should be consumed daily, according to American dietary guidelines. However, what is the average American's amount? 2 tablespoons. And every year it gets worse. This is due to the fact that our bodies are now more tolerant and can only handle higher sugar intakes. The Blue Zone diet calls for a 1/3 reduction in sugar. 7 teaspoons of sugar a day won't harm you. It's not an easy task. You could attempt to cut back on the sugar in your coffee and tea. Fruit juices, sauces, yogurt, salad dressings, cereals, and other baked products like bread all contain sugar, in case you didn't know. Foods that are packaged or packaged in packets have sugar added to them. Sugar-filled diets have been linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, insulin surges, infertility, and heart issues. Ignoring it could end up costing you your life. Reducing your sugar intake may therefore just increase your chances of living a longer life. Regarding high fructose corn syrup, the same is true. It might be the main factor contributing to aging. If you have a sweet tea or coffee addiction, you might want to try using honey instead of sugar. Like the Icarians, it will contain sugar but also possess anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and anti-cancer properties. You will drink less honey because it dissolves more slowly in colder beverages. As an all-natural sweetener, stevia is another option for experimentation. It's not what the traditional Blue Zone diet suggests, but if you compare stevia to sugar, you can see that stevia is a better option. Before introducing it into your regular diet, speak with your doctor. Store fresh fruits in your cupboard and refrigerator. Since fresh fruit can keep you fuller for longer, avoid dried fruit. Nuts are a great way to help sat your hunger. Pay attention to products that have reduced fat listed on the label. The producers might add a lot of sugar to make it look more appetizing. People in their 100s believe that sweets are best enjoyed on rare occasions. Every year, they always have cookies or pie for their festive snack. Religious celebrations and neighborhood get-togethers occasionally feature confections. You can add some dessert to your Sunday meal to keep from going hungry. Can you imagine the healthiest people in the world drinking soda? Not at all. Then, why should you drink it? You have to give it up right away if this is how you usually have your dinner. The beverage guidelines for the Blue Zone diet are very clear. You can have coffee in the morning. Don't forget to keep it dim. Don't touch the cream or sugar. It can be gently sweetened by adding a pinch of cinnamon. The most prevalent source of antioxidants in the American diet is coffee, which has also been connected to a decreased risk of Parkinson's disease and dementia. Throughout the day, if you feel thirsty, sip water. There really isn't a better beverage than water. When your body is properly hydrated, it can perform at its best. Conversely, soda and energy drinks might cause calcium absorption problems and weaken your bones. Use seltzer or sparkling water if you must have something bubbly. You will, at the absolute least, avoid the sugar. An excellent choice for afternoon tea is green tea. Okinawans drink green tea all the time. Studies have also connected green tea to a lower risk of cancer and heart disease. Other residents of the Blue Zone use plants like mint, dandelion, sage, and rosemary to brew fresh drinks. The ability of these plants to reduce inflammation is widely recognized. Do these seem tasteless in comparison to soda? Guess what? Then, I'll be interested in the next one. You can have red wine in moderation. Pay close attention to the word, moderation. You don't want to overindulge in alcohol, begin throwing up, and wake up with a bad hangover. Set a daily limit of no more than 2 glasses to help you relax. Resveratrol, an antioxidant found in wine, is good for your overall health. Another item to be aware of is milk. Dairy has been considered the main source of calcium for many years. However, were you aware that certain people have trouble breaking down milk from cows? Almost 30 million Americans suffer from lactose intolerance. Milk from sheep and goats is a common beverage for those who live in the blue zones of Sardinia and Icaria. Another enzyme that helps break down lactose is lactase. They also don't swallow the milk in its original form. It is always fermented and used to make cheese, sour milk, or yogurt. How about some goat cheese? Try soy, almond, or coconut milk in place of dairy products if you can't locate any substitutes. They will supply you enough calcium to build stronger bones and will be just as fulfilling. Do you like restaurant bread baskets? Most of the time, refined flour is used in its production. As with other processed foods, processed grains should be avoided when adhering to a blue zone diet. The breakdown of this diet high in carbohydrates swiftly raises blood glucose levels. Conversely, eating bread that is made entirely of whole wheat or properly produced sourdough will offer you numerous advantages. Because whole grain bread has a lower glycemic index, it may help prevent type 2 diabetes and obesity. Additionally, it will have more fiber, which helps with constipation and other digestive issues. When making your own bread, remember to use both barley and rye flour. You will receive a range of minerals, including magnesium and selenium, as well as the amino acid tryptophan. Moreover, better digestion is achieved by the lactobacilli that ferment the sourdough. Look for a bakery or store that sells wholesome bread and real sourdough. To enhance the nutritional value, use pumpkin, sunflower, or flax seeds. That chips and chocolate are not exactly what your body needs shouldn't come as a surprise. Still, are staples like rice and smoothies bad for you? Shall we continue the conversation with a couple more videos about bad food? Kindly inform us using the space provided for comments below.